Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Taurus sun signs. So if you have significant Taurus placements in your chart and are needing a masculine energy to work with, this reading may be for you. So Taurus, just before we get started, I was getting all this energy of like the color blue. The color blue needing to cool something down is kind of how it's coming through here for you, Taurus. I'm also the color blue, but also specifically this crystal. It's called blue apatite. This one is in the shape of a teardrop, which is relevant in this reading today. Well, perhaps not a teardrop, but just a water drop, right? Like it's just an energy of like cooling something down or making sure that something is wanting to be cooled down in some way. I feel like it may be because the first couple of cards in your spread are all wands or fiery energies. And so it's kind of like there's something here that is needing to be like cooled about that. I don't know if that's you or if it's somebody that you're dealing with. Just take that how it resonates. But the blue apatite crystal, I'll just read like a section of it that I feel like is relevant to your reading today. So just like a little portion of the description. It says, stimulating creativity and the intellect, apatite clears confusion and helps to access information to be used personally and for the collective good. Apatite expands knowledge and truth and eases sorrow, apathy, and anger. It reduces irritability and overcomes emotional exhaustion. By releasing energy in the base chakra, it clears frustration and endorses passion without guilt. So I feel like there's something here about like healing some sort of emotional energy, perhaps around frustration or anger or something like that, especially because the bottom of the deck, my gosh, you have so many planet cards in your reading. So you have, this was at the bottom of the deck, sap of the moon plant, which is more of this blue energy. This comes through as the unconscious or subconscious. Sorry for the lighting. But it's coming through as being sort of like the answer that you're seeking is within this unconscious or subconscious energy. And it's kind of just like, if there is something that you're trying to solve, it's kind of just like the guidance that comes through with this card is just to ask and then rest and receive, because it's kind of like the answer will be revealed to you in time, whatever that is. Especially because especially because under that you have here Neptune, the moon, and the drowned king. All of this blue energy, especially with Neptune, because we are in Pisces season right now. The sun is in Pisces, which is a Neptune ruled sign. There may be sort of like feeling in this sort of blue energy, or just like, because it can be very dreamy, right? Very dreamy or very ungrounded. It could feel like that for you, Taurus. And then you have Saturn. I swear, like, you have almost all the planets coming out. Like, I just keep pulling cards. You have Neptune, the moon, you have Saturn and Jupiter underneath that, and then in your actual spread you have Uranus, Mercury, and then Pluto and Venus showed up as well. I'm not including them in your spread today, but they did show up. It's just emphasizing there's so much planetary astrological energy in your reading today, Taurus, which I feel like there's just a lot of changes happening in your life currently. So it's kind of just like maybe you're feeling a bit ungrounded, or like anyways, we'll get into the reading. At the bottom of this deck you have here the Six of Wands, which does talk about success, but you have this blue butterfly. So blue is a super important color to work with. That's also the throat chakra. I was also getting this energy of if you've ever like sung in a choir or like an a cappella group even or something like that. Again, more of the throat chakra energy where at the beginning, like before they start singing, for each particular song, somebody, usually the conductor or somebody like that, will like blow a whistle or like I don't know what the proper term is, like a tone, right? They'll like play a certain note because that represents sort of like the first note of the song for the singers to remember and hold in their mind, right? It's like humming a tone. I was kind of getting that energy. And it could be just like holding onto a particular frequency. In this case, for you, it feels like it's the color blue. So it could have to do with communication of some sort or like expression, self-expression, or whatever the color blue represents to you. Because you do have the Six of Wands coming out, it does feel like it's kind of like overcoming some sort of challenge that perhaps has to do with expression. That's so interesting. The first card out you have here is the Breath card, emphasizing the throat chakra. I feel like there's something here about like perhaps what you're speaking or what you're saying, or like this card is talking about the connection between physical, right? The physical environment and the mystical or the spiritual. The breath is sort of the bridge between those things. So maybe you're doing like meditation or breath work. I was kind of getting something with like alternate nostril breathing. If you've ever tried that in like yoga, alternate nostril breathing is what it's called, where it's like you block one nostril, you inhale. Anyways, just look up a video on that. I'm not going to do it in this reading. So that might be helpful for you. But it's coming through as being sort of like life force returning. I always see this as sort of like inhaling a big gulp of air, like that kind of thing, where it's like your chest feels open. So you could be going through some sort of like heart and throat expansion, like especially with the throat. It could be it might not even be like what you're saying, right? Like it doesn't have to be in terms of words. It's any sort of form of expression, however that relates to you, like expressing something in whatever way. Sometimes expressing can also be silence, right? Like that's also a form of communication, which is really interesting because the first two cards out that came out were the Son of Wands and the Father of Wands. So if this is you, Taurus, it's kind of like, I'm seeing this as like you're getting some sort of upgrade in some aspect of your life because it's coming through with wands. I feel like it's talking about like mastering your own energy in some way, or like how you use your own energy, or like because it's coming through as being sort of like with some of the other cards out where it's like sometimes I see this Son of Wands as being like perhaps like superficially charming, or like I don't actually feel like that's you, Taurus. I kind of feel like this might be somebody else that you were perhaps like attached to or friends with or something like that in the past, because you have here the Three of Pentacles coming out underneath that. So it's kind of, I'm actually seeing this as being sort of like maybe you were working with somebody who was this sort of Son of Wands energy, perhaps very charming, but there's something here about like It's something about how you use the energy, which is different, is how that's coming through. Because it's kind of... I'm going to leave that there for a second. So it's coming out the Three of Pentacles. I always see this one as like having to work together to solve a particular problem. Because it does look like a mountain, but at the same time, it also to me looks like something that's like covered with a tarp, right? Like, so there's kind of something here about like some sort of problem, but I feel like here with the Five of Swords, I'm actually seeing this as a separation, right? It's kind of looking to me like there was perhaps something like false about this situation, or like superficial, or not true is how it's coming through. And I feel like you're seeing something about that, Taurus, like seeing something about some situation or group, or perhaps even a friend group in some way where something was not true. And it's like, I feel like there's kind of like a separation energy that you're initiating, or like you're putting an end to something, is kind of how it's coming through to me. Because there's I feel like it's freeing up your energy. Because whenever I see this card, the Breath card, it feels kind of like your chest opening up after there's been sort of like congestion, or like not having enough air to breathe, that kind of thing. So I do feel like there's something opening up for you. And what I love next, you have here the Uranus card, which is, there's this energy here of inspiration. So there's a lot of cards here about inspiration. The Blue Appetite card is also about inspiration, like receiving inspiration about something. With the Father of Wands too, it could be that maybe you're waiting for inspiration. Perhaps it's something like that. Maybe you're waiting for inspiration on how to solve a particular problem. Because the Father of Wands to me is sort of like a master at how to use their own energy. So it's like they don't expend energy on things that are like, that would be a waste of energy, so to speak, or like they're very intentional in how they use their energy, or what they focus their energy on, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's kind of like, this is a really good position to be in, because I feel like you're receiving some sort of inspiration here with this like lightning energy with the Uranus card, like some sort of like stroke of genius, or like epiphany, like an aha moment, or like an understanding about something, or perhaps like motivation to move forward with something that perhaps was difficult, and like it was kind of like there was something that you're struggling with, like some sort of problem, some sort of collaboration, or something like that you were perhaps struggling with, but it's like receiving inspiration about how to move forward with whatever this is. That's how it's coming through to me. But the next card to come out here, you have here the Wolf and the Phoenix. The Wolf and the Phoenix. So you can see why, like, the first four cards, all of these are wands and fire energies. So there is a need for this sort of like cooling and calming energy to balance. That is how it's coming through. This Wolf card to me talks about, so it was coming through with this energy of a guardian, or like the leader of a group. And it was also feeling to me like, Taurus, I feel like you are wanting to take charge on something. It's kind of like, I'm seeing this as being sort of like you're trying to lead a group or be sort of the one in charge is how it was coming through. But I think that there's kind of like this energy here of like remembering that not everybody in the group has to follow what it is that you're doing. That's sort of like the message that was coming through here with the wolf. Because I do feel like there's something here about like, I feel like maybe you're leading somebody or a group, perhaps, with the collaboration. Perhaps you're leading a group through a particular change or transformation. But it's kind of like there may be like there may be somebody here, because, okay, so this Temperance card came out underneath the wolf. Right? Which is this sort of like this drop of water, if you can see it, like the water sort of tempering the fire, because I feel like you're in a very fiery energy, Taurus, where it's like you're wanting to create change. Perhaps you've received some sort of inspiration, or like you are, if you're not yet, it feels like that's arriving for you soon. It's kind of just like rest and wait, because you're about to receive inspiration about how to move forward or whatever. I feel like there's somebody here though with the Temperance card. I'm seeing this as somebody else as coming in as like a balance to your energy, where, because the Temperance talks about patience. It's saying like be patient about this, because what I was seeing is that like it's almost like you're in a hurry to get somewhere, or it's like, if it's not a hurry, it's just like you have like a clear direction, or like you want to take action or do something like that, and then somebody's taking you almost like on a detour, was what I was seeing here with the Temperance, like taking you through the scenic route was what was coming through. And there was an energy of frustration about that, where it was like, because it's kind of like, I feel like, Taurus, you're like feeling like eager to get started on something, or like you just want to get going, or you just want to do whatever, like it's feeling like wanting to move forward. But this one's sort of saying like, let's just take the scenic route. Let's go through this like path of flowers. Let's like go on like this nice little walk. Like it's kind of like that energy. Perhaps, and they're coming in with all this like calming, soothing energy, because I feel like there's something here about the Phoenix. So this is again the root chakra, right? Like there's like perhaps frustration, or could be anger, or just like irritation, or something that is like being released through the root chakra, as I said in the blue appetite description, as I was reading from that description. This card talks about like freedom from karma. But what I was actually seeing with this combination of cards is that like this one here who took you on the scenic route, I feel like they were acting from a place of intuition, where it's almost like they took a longer path, because there was some sort of timing element where if you moved too quickly towards whatever it was that you were going towards, there could have been some sort of like negative outcome in some way, like, or like some sort of hurt or pain, or it could have added negative karma, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like this one like had the guidance perhaps to take something slowly, or to slow something down, so that like there was enough time to release whatever this like energy is first. It's kind of like this had to be released for, because I'm seeing this as being sort of like there was something behind the wolf energy that needed to be released. Like you can see how the colors of these two cards are opposite or like flipped in some way. Keep in mind, Taurus, that this entire reading can be entirely flipped. So if it's not resonating for you, it could be that you're the one who's sort of being in this temperance energy where there's someone else who's in sort of like a fiery, like, let's get moving, that kind of thing. But to me, it feels more like there's like some sort of divine timing kind of aspect here where something here was having to be released or whatever that is, something had to like play out first before the forward movement could happen. So it's kind of like somebody took you on a detour is how that's feeling. Okay, anyways, the next card out you have here is the yellowing card, which does talk about sort of like a transition. I feel like this is sort of what it was that you're trying to move towards, because this talks about like you've reached sort of the final stages of something. But again, how I'm seeing this is kind of like there was too much red and orange energy here. It's like the yellow is here, of course, but I feel like there is something here about like this yellow energy is sort of like a caution or like a slowing down, right? If you think about traffic lights, it's like a slowing down energy, because I feel like you were very determined to like move forward, and it's kind of like the answer is actually just to slow down on something, Taurus. Because it was also coming through as being like whatever task it is that you're going to be doing next, it requires like a very slow and like almost like concentrated focus. So it's kind of like the detour, whatever that represents to you, the slowdown, the delay, was in order for you to get out all of this like frustrated energy, so that like when it's actually like the thing that you're trying to work towards, it's like all of that frustration is gone. You just have this sort of like almost like peaceful or cautious. I don't want to use the word cautious, but like gentle, healing kind of energy. It's like getting all the frustration out of the way first, if that makes sense. Okay. Because you have here after the temperance card, right? You have here the lamb. So I feel like this is the energy that you were needing to be in order to move forward. It's like you can't, if you were in this energy, right? Like it would not have moved forward. It would have perhaps added more negative karma is how that's coming through. Like if you had moved forward in this energy, like things would not have worked out, or like something perhaps unanticipated or unwanted, or it just wouldn't have been a positive outcome if you had moved forward in this energy. So it's kind of like, because this is perhaps what's on the other end here with the lamb. This card talks about truth and innocence. Because I'm seeing this as being sort of like, with the Son of Wands here, I'm seeing this as like a situation that you just came out of, is how this is feeling to me, where it's like whatever this is, it feels like a past energy. Like you're not in that situation, but because of this situation, it forced you into this energy, the King of Wands. And now it's like, now that you're moving into something new, you have to shift out of the King of Wands almost into like this energy. So it's kind of like there was a fiery energy that you started this reading with, right? And it feels like it was very positive in terms of like succeeding over something, because it's the Six of Wands. But now that you're moving into something new, that fiery energy is not going to be beneficial in whatever the new thing is, right? It's like it's wanting to like cool you right down in whatever this transition is. Okay. Okay, anyways, the next card out here you have is the Mercury card. So this talks about, I'm getting kind of this energy here of like, so first of all, the color shifting to green now, right? Where it's like blue and yellow make green. So there's some, and with the lamb here as well, it's wanting to be heart-centered with the breath here. Because I feel like whatever was moving you forward was sort of like a base chakra, like root chakra, sacral chakra kind of energy. And it's kind of like having to shift more into, like, it's almost like perhaps you're having some sort of like Kundalini experience, especially because we were talking about yoga. Like something about like the energy's moving up, right? Because it's going from the base chakra up to the yellow, which is solar plexus, and then now it's going into the heart. And Mercury also is communication, which is the throat. So ultimately you're going from the base chakra into the throat chakra. So I feel like there's something here about like the energy is moving up through you, through your body. And I feel like the focus right now is on the throat and the heart. Like communicating something from the heart is how that's coming through. There was an energy here of, I did a collective reading like last week or something. I can't remember what day it was. That talked about Emerald City, quote unquote. So I'll link it above in case that has a message in there for you, because it was sort of mentioning that energy here. But this is talking about like communication and also expression of some sort. So whatever sign your Mercury is in might be relevant to you. But what you have next here, you have here the King and the Queen of Swords, which is really fascinating because of all this communication. So you may be having a conversation with somebody here, the Queen of Swords. I feel like there's something here about like, so very much focused on communication, right? Like some sort of, it doesn't feel like a bad, it doesn't feel like a bad thing, but I was sort of seeing sort of like a back and forth where like each person is trying to, maybe negotiate, because Mercury does bring in the energy of contracts, like wanting to negotiate something, like a negotiation between these two energies. Doesn't really matter which one you are in this situation, Taurus. But it does feel like a negotiation between these two energies. I'm inclined to say that you're the Father of Wands here. I feel like you have more of like, because the sword is multicolored, right? It's like using all of your energy in this conversation is how this is feeling. It does feel like a negotiation of some sort, or like negotiating a contract in some way with Mercury. And I wanted to get more clarity on the Mother of Swords here. And you have here the tiger, the buffalo, the dragonfly, and the swan. So I'm actually seeing this as being sort of like this one is not backing down. Absolutely. They're a match to you with the swan. They are a match to you. I feel like there's something here about like this is very powerful, intuitive energies, because it's kind of, especially with the thing about like the detour, I feel like this one here was almost like maybe there was a disagreement, or that feels like too strong of a word, but you know what I mean? Kind of like just like a back and forth about like which path to take, right? Kind of just like a couple arguing about directions. Like it's kind of coming through with that energy. Like which way should we go? This one is not backing down, is how that's looking to me, about a certain path or something like that, because I do feel like there's something here about like with the buffalo card, all of this lightning, there is sort of like intuitive energies present in both of you, in whoever this is. It is feeling very much like both are very connected to spiritual energies, right? But it's kind of just like that. It's a conversation that brings about a lot of change, but you also have here at the end all of these water cards. So after the king, the father of swords, you have the ace of cups, which is all of this like overflowing love energy, but again, more of the cups, more of the water. I feel like there's like, because these two cards with the swords, the king and queen of swords, especially from this deck, can be kind of sharp. Like it's kind of just like being extra cautious about the sharpness of the conversation or the words. It's like, make sure that there's love in whatever it is that you're saying, especially in sort of like a disagreement. It doesn't feel like a disagreement. It just feels like people who are trying to figure something out, but there's complexity, there's negotiation, and so it's kind of just like just making sure that you're speaking with love. And with these cards here, you have here the Father of Cups, the Starfish that came out in reverse, and the Seven of Cups, because I feel like there's something here about like, so the Father of Cups was coming out beside the Mother of Swords, so I feel like there's something here about like this Mother of Swords, in this one, talks about being detached. And with the Father of Cups, it could be that, like, they are perhaps not saying something that is... I don't want to say that they're hiding something, but it's kind of like the way that they communicate is perhaps less straightforward than maybe you would like. Especially if they took you on some sort of detour. Maybe there's something about that, like, they knew more than they were saying. Is how that's coming through. They knew more than what they were saying. About, I don't know what about though, or how that relates to you. But the Starfish in reverse actually talks about like feeling drained or empty, because how I'm seeing this is kind of like, especially with the Seven of Cups coming out next, I feel like maybe there is kind of like, so maybe this one here is feeling drained or empty about whatever this conversation is. It's kind of like their cup is empty, or it's like, especially with the Starfish, like perhaps like, because this talks about like superficial kind of energies, because it's coming in out in reverse. It talks about like feeling drained because of that. With the Seven of Cups, because this one to me is always really interesting, where it's like when the moon is upright, you have 6 cups that are upright. When the sun is upright, you have 1 cup that's upright. And it's coming out underneath the Ace of Cups. So there's something here about like I feel like this one's feeling very drained in some way, but perhaps they're not saying that. They're feeling drained about something. I don't know what it is. Or they're tired, or they're needing rest. It could just be that. It's like they're asking you to slow down because they need rest, or they need not a break, but they just need a slower pace is how that's coming through. Okay, Taurus, this was a long reading, so I'm going to end it there. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.